Hi everybody, in today's video I'm going to be talking about Bitcoin, but more specifically I'm going to discuss Bitcoin's history as well as some current news that may be influencing Bitcoin. For those of you that do not know me, my name is Matthew Dresch and I am a freshman at Wright State University Lake Campus. I have always had an interest in technology, so that is one of the main reasons why I am making this video about Bitcoin. But that isn't the only reason. First off, like I just mentioned, I have always had a great interest in technology, including new upcoming technology. When I heard about Bitcoin, I realized its great potential and fell in love with its idea. I myself have invested in Bitcoin, so I have some experience with it. Also, since I realized its importance, I like to share with others info about Bitcoin. I figure that if more people are informed about it, they would be more comfortable with using it and adopting it into their everyday lives. Finally, my last reason I am making this video is because I want to inform people about Bitcoin. I know most people may have heard of it, but I know also that they may not be as well informed as I am about it, and I'm hoping that I can share some of my information so that they know more about it. So what specifically am I going to discuss in this video? Well, I will start off by providing information and discussing the complex history Bitcoin has had. I will then state its reason for being created, and I will share where I first learned about it. Next, I will talk about Bitcoin's current standings and how many people are currently using it. Also, I will discuss where in the world Bitcoin is being used as legal currency. The history of Bitcoin. Bitcoin was created in 2008 during the financial crisis by a man named Satoshi Nakamoto. In the world at the time, there was a great mistrust of the banks and the government, and because of this, some speculate that this may have encouraged Satoshi to design Bitcoin. Really though, who is Satoshi? Well, not much is known about who Satoshi Nakamoto is. Some believe that he is rather a group of people hiding behind one name. But what we do know about him is that he was a computer programmer and the mastermind behind the new technology at the time called Bitcoin. The idea of the currency of Bitcoin was published in a white paper article that described how Bitcoin was meant to be purely a peer-to-peer version of electronic cash that would allow users to transact funds freely. After this article was published soon after in 2009, Bitcoin was created. At first, Bitcoin was only able to be used by Bitcoin's miners, who essentially helped verify the transaction and test out how it was working. As years went on, more and more people started experimenting with it, and in 2010, a man from Florida had purchased 2 pizzas valued at $25 for 10,000 Bitcoins. 10,000 Bitcoins back then was only worth around $25, but now that purchase would be valued at over $400 million. This was one of the first purchases of goods to be recorded, and it set the groundwork for what's to come. Like I mentioned earlier, one of its goals was to create a cashless money system that was decentralized. This decentralization meant that not one person, group, or government was in charge of the transaction and system. All of Bitcoin's users collectively worked together to verify transactions that helped to keep the system running very smoothly. This method even improves transaction speeds and makes the system very safe and secure. So how does Bitcoin improve transaction speeds? Well, with cryptocurrencies, there are no intermediary banks that control and allow transactions. Instead, cryptocurrency system relies on its users to manage a consensus-backed system that approves users' transactions and stores them on the blockchain, Keplr. In the next slide, I will show an example of how cryptocurrencies transactions are faster than bank transactions. When it comes to transactions, both Bitcoin and the banks perform the exact same task. First off, when a transaction is occurring, they have to be approved by the system. Next, the transactions have to be verified to make sure that they are authentic and that they are a legit transaction. Once they are verified, the funds can soon be sent over to the account. Once they are sent over, they are recorded. For the banks, they are recorded online or in a file somewhere. For Bitcoin, they are recorded on the blockchain. Although they both share the exact same transaction process, Bitcoin is way faster than the banks, and I'm going to describe why. With the banks, They just aren't in charge of money transactions. They also deal with loans, the investment of money, setting interest rates, and multiple other things. They are very, very busy, and on average, when you are trying to cash a check, it takes 2 to 3 days. That is way slower compared to Bitcoin. Bitcoin, on the other hand, can get transactions done in 5 to 10 minutes. But that is because they only deal with money transactions. So, because of this, they're able to have such high-speed transactions, unlike the banks that will take 3 days to cash a check. With all that I mentioned over the years about Bitcoin, it has grown very popular over the past few years. Some people were drawn to it because they see it as a potential for a future currency, while others are hoping to strike rich off of Bitcoin's speculative investment tendencies. Bitcoin's gained increasing popularity in countries like the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, South Africa, and Australia, with countries like India, China, and Brazil starting to show interest in it. Next, I'm going to show an example of how much Bitcoin's price has changed over the years and why exactly investors are so drawn to Bitcoin. So, if we look at the price of Bitcoin in 2014, which is 8 years ago, it was at $348.99. A couple years later, in 2018, it was valued at a height of $19,363. And then in 2021, it hit another high of $62,986. And then in 2022, it hit a high of $64,972. And right now, it is sitting at $41,505. So, from all the way from 2014 to 2022, it has had a 12,613% increase in its price. So, the big reason why investors are so drawn to it is because of how much it has changed in price and how much it still has the potential to change in price. They are looking to make some money off of it, and a 12,613% increase on anything is going to make you a lot of money if you were to invest in it. So that's why people are so drawn to it. So where did I find Bitcoin? Well, I found Bitcoin in 2018. Like right now, Bitcoin was exploding in the news because it had just increased its price very significantly. And I had noticed that people were becoming millionaires off of this new technology. So because of that, I became very, very interested in it. And over the years, I did more and more research, and now I realize its potential as a future currency. If you go on social media or watch any news sites, you will realize that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are always being talked about. Whether it is about the latest Bitcoin millionaire or talks of possible government regulations, there is simply no denying that Bitcoin is more popular than ever. Today, the price of Bitcoin is at $40,000, and just 5 months ago, it hit an all-time high of $64,000. Also today, in places like El Salvador, Bitcoin has been adopted as legal currency. In 2021, El Salvador's president, Nayib Bukele, signed a law making Bitcoin legal currency in the country. The president did this to decrease dependence on the US dollar in the country and to drive investments from other people into the country. He also hoped that his country would lay the groundwork for other countries to do the same thing. El Salvador's adoption allowed its citizens to buy food and goods from grocery stores and basically do everything that you could normally do with cash, but this time you'd be using Bitcoin. But El Salvador isn't the only place that has started to use Bitcoin. Users all around the world have too. How many people are using it today? Well, there are currently over 6 million digital wallets that have been created by users worldwide to store cryptocurrencies. People can use them to transfer funds from person to person. Nicoletta. This quote only describes one of the many ways that people can store cryptocurrencies, but 6 million digital wallets is not a small amount at all. In my opinion, if you take into account all the ways Bitcoin is used, my estimates is that 70 to 80 million people are using it worldwide today. This includes people that are investing in it too. Ever since Bitcoin was created by Satoshi Nakamoto in 2008, it has been a symbol of financial freedom and decentralization for many people, including myself. I believe that as Bitcoin becomes more and more popular over the years, like it has in the past, it will one day completely replace our current flawed money system. Bitcoin will provide a safe, secure, and decentralized way for people to use money. The future of Bitcoin lies in the news that we see today. As it becomes more common worldwide, I believe then we will be able to see its full potential.